Hello, today we are going to learn about American Sign Language, or ASL. What is it? American Sign Language is a complete complex language that employs signs made by moving the hands combined with facial expressions and postures of the body. It's primarily the language of many North Americans who are deaf and is one of several communication options used by people who are deaf or hard of hearing. Here is the ASL alphabet presented A through Z, but there are only 22 actual hand movements for all 26 letters. Dr. William Stokes Jr., is one of the renowned linguistics pioneers of ASL, and he's considered the father of ASL linguistics by the ASL community. In the 1960s, he observed sign language used by the Gallaudet University students, which back then it was called the Gallaudet College. He studied and discovered that it contained linguistic features, which would be phonology, morphology, syntax, and any other thing like that, like regular spoken language. He proposed that it was indeed a true language of its own. In the beginning, he didn't receive support at all. He actually received harsh criticism as well as ridicule from his colleagues. Prior to the 1960s and 70s, oralism had been most of the means of deaf communication, and sign language was looked down on and was even prohibited in educational settings. And before this time, ASL used to be regarded as a set of gestures or a simplified or broken English. It really wasn't considered as a language of its own. So his works disproved them scientifically and revolutionized the notion of language when he presented his groundbreaking paper, Sign Language Structure, in 1960. Excuse me. And also co-authored the Dictionary of American Sign Language on Linguistics Principles in 1965. He founded the journal Sign Language Studies in 1972. He received an honorary degree for his work in ASL linguistics from the Gallaudet University in May of 1988. He also received honorary doctorates from the University of Copenhagen in Denmark and Madonna University in Michigan. And sadly, in 2000, he died of bone cancer. So where did sign language come from? The exact beginnings of ASL aren't really clear, but some suggest that it arose more than 200 years ago from the intermixing of local sign languages and French Sign Language, which LSF, or Language des Signes Français. I really don't know if I pronounced that correctly, but anyway. Today's ASL includes some elements of LSF plus the original local sign languages, which over the years have melded and changed into a rich, complex, and mature language. Modern ASL and modern LSF are distinct languages, and while they still contain some similar signs, can no longer be understood by each other's users. So how do people learn sign language actually? Parents are often the source of a child's early acquisition of language, but for children who are deaf, additional people may be models for language acquisition. A deaf child born to parents who are deaf and who already use ASL will begin to acquire ASL as naturally as a hearing child picks up spoken language from hearing parents. However, a deaf child with hearing parents who have no prior experience with ASL their language may be acquired differently. Excuse me. In fact, 9 out of 10 children who are born deaf are born to parents who hear. Some hearing parents choose to introduce sign language to their deaf children, and also hearing parents who choose to learn sign language often learn it along with their child. Is sign language the same in other countries? No. No one form of sign language is universal. Different sign languages are used in different countries or regions. For example, British Sign Language, or BSL, is a different language from ASL, and Americans who know ASL may not understand BSL. And even though the United States and the United Kingdom both speak English predominantly, BSL and ASL are very different. So BSL uses 2 hands for their alphabet while ASL uses 1, which is actually really cool. So go look up BSL alphabet. It's awesome. I've added a ASL phrase, a few little phrases here and there. It's a BuzzFeed presentation on YouTube. It's about a minute long, so go check it out. Here's the link. Here's my ASL Learning Online resources. These are two great websites that you can use online. They are free. And you can also find apps for Apple and Android phones to assist you in learning ASL. And here are my references that I used for this presentation. Thanks for listening.